Hi, everyone, all the subscribers and all the others that are venturing into the YouTube and watching us here. We've got the whole gang together. This is episode 61 of a Tailgate Update. And we've got Caleb Bourne, we've got Brian, we've got Julie Miller, and myself, Jay Moffitt. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things this week, but mainly focusing on what everyone's been watching, which is the football playoffs as they wind their way through. We're going to start with Ryan this week. He's got some NHL news to start us off.
I do. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Just mini news here out of the NHL. New York Rangers defenseman Will Borgen has been extended for 5 years with an average annual value of $4.1 million per year. So just short and sweet, to the point. Just the Rangers getting their man extended. He was set to be a free agent after they just traded for him. And set to be a free agent July 1st.
Not that bad.
So,
yeah. We'll be talking a lot more about NHL here in a couple of weeks once football moves off the main stage. But
plus we have the Four Nations face-off coming up soon. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of NCAA news, too, in basketball.
So the SEC has fined Vanderbilt men's basketball $500K for court storming versus Kentucky. This was their third offense under the conference policy for access to a competition area. The fine to be paid to Kentucky. They were fined $100K after storming the field in football back in October after beating Bama.
Okay.
And this is their second fine. The second fine they had came last week after fans stormed court celebrating win over number 9 Tennessee. So 3 times this year, storm the field. They were told not to. They know not to. They know the rules. They continue to do it. And now every fine after this one is going to be $500K right off the top, no matter what.
Wow.
You're just passionate, Ryan.
It just seems excessive, doesn't it, though? I mean,
It's just stupid.
hold on. Let's just think about where Vanderbilt has been and the scope of college athletics. And it's been literally the bottom of the barrel. So, yeah, get excited about beating Bama. Get excited about having 2 top 10 wins at home. An extremely difficult conference. Money well spent, in my opinion. I would not care at all. If I'm the athletic director, would not care at all.
Well, eventually the NCAA is going to step in and be like, hey, this can't happen. This is going to be done.
What is the issue with storming a court, though, honestly?
Safety.
For the opposing players.
Bro, do you not remember Cal versus USC? The band is on the field. Bam! The band is down on the field.
Yeah, obviously don't do that while, if you're going to bring something up for 50 years ago.
Tuba two down. Down.
That's the safety issue, man.
I'm just saying, it's okay. Don't do it during the middle of the game, obviously.
It wasn't the middle of the game. The game was almost over, but the play was still happening.
Almost over.
Yes.
It wasn't over, though.
Time has expired as the play was continuing.
Have you seen
the band? They were overzealous and they stormed the field.
So they jumped the gun, is my point.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with storming the court or the field after the game is over, but obviously don't do it during. It's common sense, you know what I mean? Use it.
Clearly, yes, you're right. But it's a safety issue, and they're going to look at it like that.
That's what they always say when they say, you're not supposed to fight in the NFL because it's a safety issue. They don't care about safety, and we know it.
If they care about, we go down that road. But, they don't give a shit.
We'll get there later.
Okay.
Storming the court, it's okay in my book.
Yeah, let them storm a little.
If you don't like it, you're a fun sucker. And if you're worried about 7 foot, 300-pound people being injured in a storming full of 150-pound kids, then I don't know what to tell you. These professional athletes, essentially. So they'll be fine. Get off the court.
But what's happening with the NBA, Ryan?
The Mavs. Maxi Kleber, he breaks his foot in a blowout loss to the Celtics Saturday night. He's out an extended period of time, and he's going to get reevaluated this week.
How are the Mavs doing, Jay?
Terribly. They've got no Luka. I mean,
Luka's out.
no Luka, no Magic. Yeah,
I didn't know Luka was out.
He's been out for a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know if we should be saying that on a podcast, but yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Okay,
no
well,
wow.
I've just been scoreboard watching lately.
Yeah, well, that's it for me. I mean, you can look and see if he's on the,
Either way, he's out. He's going to be reevaluated this week. So this next one kind of puzzles me just a tiny bit. The Brooklyn Nets retired Vince Carter's number 15 jersey this past weekend during halftime ceremony.
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, he played for New Jersey Nets back in 06-07 area. It's still part of the same franchise history, I guess. So they retired his number, man. And he played 374 career games with the Nets. He has a single season record for points in a season with 2070 and 2006-2007 season. Third in franchise points scored with 8,834. Fourth in 3-point field goals made with 638, and fourth in playoff points, 701. He and Jason Kidd led the Nets to 3 playoff appearances with 2 series wins in that time. And both times they lost in the playoffs. 2 of the 3 times they lost was to the conference champs. They lost to the Heat and they lost to the Cavs in 06 and 07 seasons. So I guess that's why they retired his number. I mean, he didn't really play that long with them. He was only there for like 3 years.
That's about 8. If he played 374 games, divide that by 82, that's about almost 5 years.
Yeah, he got there in, I think, 05, maybe. And he was gone to Dallas by 09. So
it's both impressive and sad. It's impressive on his part and sad on the franchise's part that he is ranked that high.
Yeah.
In that little a time.
But that's true. I mean, you look the last 5 to 8 years, no one stays with the Nets that long.
No, I can't. Well, nobody good. I mean,
they continually get these guys who are past their prime but still have that name value. I mean, look what they did. They went out and got KG and Paul Pierce. They're like, oh, we got KG and Paul Pierce. We're going to the finals. Well, yeah, KG and Paul Pierce are getting ready to qualify for AARP. So what are you excited about? And they were gone in 4 years. Not even 4 years, they were gone.
And they didn't produce anything, did they?
They did nothing. They had maybe 2 playoff appearances, and they did nothing.
Ray Allen might have been the straw that stirred that drink, huh?
I don't know. I really don't. But that's that. His jersey is now sitting in the rafters of the Barclays Center. But some breaking news a couple hours ago. Jimmy Butler's been suspended indefinitely after walking out of the team shootout this morning.
Wow.
Monday morning, January 27th, 2025, Jimmy Butler walks out amidst a big old controversy going on here. He wants to trade, reiterated he wanted to trade, and they've still yet to trade him. They have benched him, suspended him, and suspended him twice, actually, because they suspended him for 2 games for conduct detrimental to the team, and now he walks out of the team shoot-around.
Do you remember what the quote was about where he wanted to go?
I think I heard something about Phoenix or something like that.
He wants to go to Phoenix, but he wants to go anywhere away from Miami that's not Memphis. I swear, you can look it up.
Wow. Okay.
That supposedly comes from his camp. Memphis was not happy about this.
Man, I don't know if I can trust things that come from camps rather than straight from the horse's mouth.
He's not talking about me. I mean, he just walked out of practice. He's doing all these crazy things. Missed the flight 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's like he's just doing nothing but kind of acting out. He's not actually saying anything to the press. He's just
quiet quitting.
Acting out. Quiet quitting. He's loud quitting.
Yeah, that ain't quiet quitting.
That ain't quiet quitting. No,
quiet quitting is kind of just like doing your job. And
he's not doing his job.
No extracurriculars.
He is, in fact, doing the opposite of his job.
Yeah,
You know, I
quiet
had heard
quitting would be getting
recently.
on the flight and then just scurrying off somewhere.
Getting on the flight and then falling asleep on the flight and saying, "Oh, I can't play.
Yeah.
I'm jet lagged."
Somebody in Chicago media had recently, I'm guessing it was in light of what's going on, but had finally kind of come out and been like, yeah, Jimmy wasn't like what we all kind of thought he was, which is like a blue collar player, just gritty and just go get a bucket. I guess he's kind of a diva while he was in Chicago. So I think that kind of led to them trading him. So, which I didn't know. I just thought he was a just down and dirty, hardworking player, but guess not. It's unfortunate because he kind of come from. I mean, he was not highly touted coming out of college at all. So,
But he got traded the same way from Minnesota as well.
He's turning into James Harden.
yeah,
pushing his way out of town.
That Minnesota thing felt different though because Cat was the one that just not wanting to work or do anything, and Jimmy was the one that was like trying to kind of do the Kobe thing and just like grind everybody down. But that whole thing, Cat's may be different now, but I think very little of Cat as a player.
He's in New York now, right?
Yeah, which
He's
I'm
very
not
good
sure.
in New York. Yeah,
I believe he was being carried by Anthony Edwards last year.
Well, if he's surviving Tom Thibodeau, I mean, he's probably doing okay.
True.
Because Tom is like the last like hard nosed coach, not named Greg Popovich.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The trade deadline is looming in the near future here, and
Bulls need to trade Zach LaVine and Vooch. I don't care if they have to pay a team to take them. They need to just get them the hell off the books and off my team.
Okay. What about Jimmy? What are you gonna do with Jimmy?
Jimmy who?
What? Isn't he in Chicago? No. Where the hell is he? Oh, Miami. Sorry.
Miami. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Miami.
We already traded him like 10 years ago.
You traded him. Yeah.
So I just don't like the current state of the NBA. It's very sad.
It is, and you hear Memphis coming up in trade talks all the time, but that's just because they got a lot of young guys on moderate contracts that you can just throw in.
Yeah.
So every other rumor I hear has Memphis in it because people can make the contracts work on the NBA GM machine.
Are they being rumored as part of like 3-team deals or just straight up trade?
2 and 3-team deals. They were rumored to be part of one for Dorian Finney-Smith, but he went to the Lakers.
Okay.
And they were also Cam. I forget the last name, but he's on the East Coast as well. They were rumored to be part of that, and nothing came of it. And the guy that was rumored to be part of it, Luke Kennard, went and made 14 3-pointers in a 2-game span.
Nice.
So he's probably off the trading block right now.
No, not necessarily, depending on the team situation.
Cam or Bam?
No, it was Cam.
Reddish?
No. East Coast, but anyway, I don't remember it because it's not even been talked about in the last 2 weeks. So I think that the team is pretty much set unless they get rid of some of the pieces that aren't in the rotation.
Yeah.
But they would have to give something for that, and they're not really in the mood to do that. They've given up a lot the last year or two. That's the way most of the teams in the NBA are. I think Phoenix has like 10 first-round draft choices over the next several years. And a lot of teams don't have a first. Yeah, Oklahoma City still has a lot.
When's the deadline? The 6th?
I think it's 5 days. Yeah, 5 days from now, 6 days from now. I know that Jimmy Butler will still be on suspension when it comes around. So,
no.
Yeah, 5 games. That'll get him through the trade deadline. So,
I thought that was an indefinite suspension he got today.
Yeah, I
thought it was. You're right. At least 5, but indefinite. You're correct.
So that's a minimum of 5.
Minimum of 5, but indefinite suspension.
Okay.
Listen, if I'm Miami, I'm looking at all avenues to get him out of town. Okay, he obviously doesn't want to be there.
How's Miami doing? No. not going to sneak in as the
I don't think so.
Cinderella story again.
I don't think so.
They could sneak in as at 10 because there's the
play-in, yeah.
The play-in, because the play is so bad in the East. Yeah. They don't. I think the last time I looked, they had either 6 or 7 teams at 500 or better. I know it's really bad. The West is much better as far as the middle tier.
Yeah, like just deeper conference.
Let's see here. Miami's sitting at 8 right now. Okay, so they're in the hunt.
Count them out right now, which I feel like I
they're
do
500,
and they'll end up making a little run somehow.
They're sitting at 500 right now, man. Orlando is ahead of them by 1 game, or 2 games. Sorry.
I thought Orlando would be a little bit hotter of a team this year.
Orlando's sitting at 24 and 23.
Okay, that's probably about 6th in the East.
7th. Detroit's sitting at 6 right now.
Okay.
Detroit is a shocker to me this year, man.
Yeah.
They had so many young guys, though.
Once
they got jailed, yeah.
Cleveland is a shocker to me. Like, I didn't expect them to be blowing it off the.
No,
blowing the doors off.
The cover off the ball, aren't they?
Yeah. I did not expect them to come out like this early. I figured they'd be in the mix, but
they'll lose the ball.
They're the 1 seed right now.
Yeah, they've lost a couple lately, but they were just destroying everyone. They were like 4 or 5 games up. But now Boston started to close the gap a little bit.
OKC and Houston are lighting it up in the Western Conference too.
Yeah.
Memphis is doing very well.
Yeah, Houston and Memphis almost even.
Yeah, they're about separated by half a game.
Yeah.
For the top 2 seeds?
Houston sitting at 2. OKC sitting at 1.
Why are you guys talking about unloading players?
We're not. Everyone else is. They're not talking about it at all. Everybody says, "Oh, you can use spare parts." And it's like, well, unless you get a first-round draft pick, or
Yeah, Caleb's over
here.
Of the team.
Caleb's over here confused. Like, why are you trying to move players?
We're not trying to move players. Other people are putting us into trade talks that we have no part of. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm tracking now. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you said it, not me.
I also just had no idea. I have no idea what the standings look like right now.
So are we ready to talk about the oblong ball right now?
Yes, the oblong ball going between the big H.
I have the energy for
between the big H
anymore.
Kick the oblong ball made of pigskin through the big H.
Okay, let's talk about the Notre Dame.
It was a most riveting one.
Yeah.
Notre Dame falls to the Buckeyes.
They did.
It was an 11-point game, but it wasn't that way for most of it. It was 31-7 early in the third.
Yeah, they kind of crawled back.
It's hard to come back from that in the
and
a quarter and a half.
They're not built to do that. They're very much a get out in front and then grind you down kind of team. Can we talk about just a hypothetical here? This may or may not have happened in the game. You're down 16 points. It's 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You're sitting on the 9-yard line. It's 4th and goal. Would you A, attempt a field goal, or B, go for it on 4th down?
You're down 16 in the fourth?
10 minutes left.
Bro, I'm going for it. From the 9?
From the 9.
Was there yardage to get a first down without scoring?
No, it was 4th and goal.
Okay, so that wasn't okay. It wasn't going to be at the 1-yard line if they. Okay, yeah, I'm going for it either way.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean,
because you're down.
Marcus Freeman kicking a field goal to take a 2-touchdown game to a 2-touchdown game, and then they missed it.
Yeah, I remember it hit the upright, correct?
Yeah.
How do you miss a field goal from the 9-yard line?
College kickers, man. It's like,
I mean, he doinked it, man.
You can't trust them.
You can't trust pro kickers anymore either.
Yeah, if you can't trust Justin Tucker, you can't trust anybody. Yeah, that blew my mind. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, y'all, I don't care what happens next. I'll deserve it. And then the next drive, what do? They get a freaking fumble, and then I'm like, shit, you guys would have got that 4th down. Who knows? Get that fumble. Now we're cooking with grease, but nope. All from
grease.
Yeah,
you cook with grease, you could easily start a grease fire.
But we're cooking. That baby be hot.
Either way, they ended up losing 34-23. Buckeyes.
Beef tallow. Is that what you want to say?
But I mean, Ohio State has impressive a run as anybody's had. Even the 4-team championship. Nobody ever goes and just blows the other teams out both games.
Dude, when they lost to Michigan in the game, I'm like, they're done. But I think that
they were toasted.
I mean, they looked soft before that game and during that game, and then they come to the playoff after that and just railroad everybody.
Apparently, they had to get into a street fight after the Michigan game to really kick it into gear.
Yeah, long fight, man.
But I mean, both the Purdue game and the Notre Dame game, it got close late. It wasn't really a game. You remember Purdue caught like it was an onside kick,
Indiana.
Indiana, yeah.
Oh, the state of Indiana is gonna love that.
Indiana came back pretty good, but
yeah, that was meaningless for sure.
Meaningless.
I kind of felt that way, but if they recovered one more onside kick, but they didn't, obviously. But
I mean, honestly, Freeman kicking that field goal attempt is no different than Cignetti punting the ball with like 8 minutes left in the game from like the 50. Like, what are you doing? Just go for it. Trying to conserve the score, It's soft.
Well,
but that's kind of a stinker.
What can you do, man?
I'm ready for a good national championship game. I feel like we've not had one for a long time.
Well, we expanded the playoffs and we get these other teams coming in and they just kind of catch these teams that are supposed to be, a lock for the national championship. They kind of catch them off guard, smack them off the face of the earth. And I'm like, oh, this team, man, they're gonna give, Georgia a run for their money. Well, they did not.
Yeah. Well, you've got to look. This is the first year they've had buys. Every team that had a buy lost.
Yeah.
Every single team that had a buy lost. They need to think about these things.
I mean, some of the teams that had buys just shouldn't have had buys. Like Boise State shouldn't have had a buy. Arizona State shouldn't have had a buy. I mean, that should be the top 4 seeds, which should be the top 4 overall teams in the ranking system. I think they're going to probably revisit that. That the whole seeding was a little odd because Oregon had the number 1 seed, and what was the reward? Well, I got to play like the top 3 teams in the whole bracket to get to the national championship.
Right.
One quick question. I don't follow the gambling that closely, but wasn't Ohio State favored in every game they played? Even the Oregon game?
Yes. I think so. Oh, I think Oregon was favored in that one.
I think that might be the only one they weren't favored in, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio State went to the Notre Dame game as a 6.5 point favorite.
Oh, it was only that? I thought
it was 6.5.
Yeah. Because I know they were favored over Tennessee.
We have to think about this. So this whole playoff bracket is brand new. Like, it's not going to be, set in stone. This is it. This is the way it's going to be.
They're going to tweak it.
They're going to have to tweak it. It's the first year they're doing it.
You don't want your best games. I mean, you want the whole playoff to look good, but you don't want your best games to be 2 or 3 games before the national championship. Like, you want to try and save it for that.
Yeah. But remember, the first weekend was just trash.
That was awful. Everybody got
It was very bad. It was dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a fun weekend. Good if you were a heavy favorite better. Great weekend for you, but
yeah,
everybody else suffered.
Yeah.
So
pretty much we've buried the great minds that thought this up, and maybe they'll think of something better next year.
Yeah.
As a hungry nation turns its eyes to the National Football League, we're going to start with Julie updating us on our injury reports.
Yeah.
National Fraud League.
I tend to thrive in dysfunction, so I'm just gonna continue as usual. Um, Philadelphia Eagles, some injury updates for them. Uh, Landon Dickerson, left guard, has a knee issue. As you may recall, he started in place of Cam Jurgens, who had the back problem, and then switched. Because then all of a sudden, Cam Jurgens came in even after he had the back issue, uh, back tightness or something. They had a word for it, but anyway, um.
Spasms.
Well, no,
Or
they didn't say he pulled a muscle. I think they just said it was tight or something.
hmm,
But anyway, he had some light back pain. It wasn't like significant. I mean, nothing was broken or pulled. So
long
anyway,
term.
yes. So he decided to join the game after Dickerson left with the knee issue. And both of them should be at the Super Bowl. Um, Kenneth Gainwell had the concussion. Uh, he should probably be good because nobody cares about concussions. And then Britton Covey, the wide receiver, had the neck issue. He probably won't be there for the Super Bowl. Anyway, okay. So heading into the game, the Chiefs had four injured players. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes with that ankle. I think as he gets older, we're gonna see his ankles really take it. Jawan Taylor on the knee, and Mike Caliendo the shoulder, corner Jalen Watson with the ankle. So they should be okay, but I'm just checking in on that.
We all know Mahomes is going to be okay. He's going to be just fine.
Um, during the game, safety Justin Reed, Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, and Nico Remigio, all left with potential injuries, but they all kept playing anyway, and so there's no reason to believe they're returning to practice this week, so they should all be there for the next week. So, really, it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of people missing. I doubt Patrick Mahomes is going to miss it. Jawan Taylor, Mike Caliendo, Jalen Watson, and then the guy with the neck injury for the Phillies, Covey. That's potential missing pieces. But we also saw what's his name? The one who runs all the time. Barkley. He had some yeah. He had some pretty he kept massaging and running on that little bike thing, and
His calf, yeah.
yeah, and they kept saying, "Oh, he's fine. Oh, he's fine." We'll see if he's fine, I guess, because you don't do all that because you're fine. But
Well, he rushed for 3 touchdowns and 115 yards, so I think he's okay.
yeah, but I mean, it
Yeah.
could have been
2 weeks from
okay
now.
this week, and then what if he tweaks it in the Super Bowl? So it's just something to keep an eye out for.
Right.
Just
True.
like Jalen Hurts' knee is still kind of a question mark. Obviously, he was able to use it okay, but what you
He
can
was
have
perfectly
problems. Kind of
fine.
like Patrick Mahomes' ankle, it could give out during the game. So, like, just things to keep an eye out for.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
definitely.
Yeah. Both the quarterbacks are a little bit limping.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
One more than
Okay.
the other.
Okay. Who wants to start with the Eagles game?
Philly blows them out 55-23. Commanders go home. Jaden Daniels, congratulations on a great season. That was
Yeah, making it
something
that
from a rookie
far.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making it that far. Yeah.
Philly's
I was sad. Obviously, I wanted them to go all the
he
way with Wagner at like when he's like 37. But
Jaden did nothing wrong yesterday. Like he did,
no, he never does.
other than holding onto the ball too long. He did his job to the fullest.
He
His
almost
teammates let him
never
down.
makes a mistake. He didn't make any mistakes the week before that either.
Right? Yeah. Like he did everything he could have done to win that game. His teammates dropped passes. His defense fell apart. I mean, nothing he can do.
Yeah, he kept them in the game to halftime, and
Mhm.
the thing about was from the last game and then this game. You remember the last game they played against Detroit? They scored every time. They only punted with like 3 minutes left. when they were trying to kill the clock.
Mm.
And this game, he didn't punt in the first half. There was a turnover,
Yeah.
but there was no punts.
Yes. Yes. Now, last week though, they played Detroit, who gave them 5 turnovers. So I mean, it's a little easier to score when you got short field.
Yeah,
A little bit.
no long drives. Correct.
Yeah. Philly sets a record for most rushing touchdowns in a playoff game with 7. And Barkley and Hurts become the first teammates to have 3 rushing touchdowns each in a playoff game.
Ta-da!
Nice.
Wow. And they said the rush was dead 5 years ago. Everything was straight
Not
passing.
even
Run-
5 years ago. It was like 2 seconds ago when they said the running backs are dead and the game doesn't need them anymore and totally
Yeah.
devalued them and
Yeah.
said they don't deserve any money. It was just about 4 seconds ago.
The running back
pretty sure
position.
we touched on that in the offseason this past
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. I
So-
think it was this past offseason.
So
The
I
running
think,
back
we can
position
put
is
that one to bed.
undervalued. The running back position is expendable. Well,
Yeah.
we
James
saw the
Cook.
difference.
Derrick Henry, Barkley.
We saw the difference between 2 teams who have a running back and don't have a running back. Washington is still in search of that running back. Philly has a running back, and he ran all over Washington. So, I mean,
Yeah, Washington needs to tighten up that defense too.
Mhm.
They played with house money for a good bit of the season.
they went farther than a lot of people expected them to.
Yes.
Dan Quinn definitely did his job, but that
Gotta
you
do
get
more.
a third look at a team like the Eagles did, and
Yeah.
it's gonna. And I'm like, Eagles are really good. I mean, shit. I think I turned it off like 34-23. And then I
Mhm.
checked later and like before the Bills game started, and I'm like 55. Like, what in the world? So
Freaking
wheels
Barkley,
fall
man.
off, they fall off.
Yeah, it's like
Good season
quicksand.
nonetheless. I mean, great season nonetheless.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Everybody involved there. So
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
can we talk about a little bit something though in that game that happened? This blew my mind a little bit.
Sure.
So,
Mhm.
do you guys do you happen to remember the AJ Brown fiasco in the end zone?
Oh, I
With
thought you
Lattimore?
meant his book reading.
Oh no, I don't care about that.
Well, I mean, Amazon did because that
Yeah.
book is
number 1 on Amazon.
that man is really getting that money. Okay,
Free
the man who wrote that book.
publicity.
gosh.
Yes, he's like, yeah, rolling in the dough.
Oh, people.
So, Marshawn Lattimore and AJ Brown got into it in the end zone. Okay,
Oh wait, they're just 2 very stable human beings. That's
AJ
crazy.
Brown ripped Lattimore's helmet off, like just shoved it off, ripped it off, whatever, and then act like he did nothing wrong. Lattimore got flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. Brown got nothing.
That's why he's reading that book because he knows he's on borrowed time.
No, Lattimore probably should have made it more worth it then.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why. Why is this happening? Why is one player getting something and the other one doesn't when they both did something stupid?
Seems to be a theme.
no
Championship Sunday.
It just don't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, they always say don't retaliate, but I mean, if he doesn't retaliate, does a flag get thrown at all anyway? So
And then he looks like a bitch, and you have to deal with that.
right, yeah, and there is a level of like, hey, like you got to have some self pride here.
Mm.
Right. It just didn't make much sense to me at all.
Yeah, I'm never gonna. I mean, I don't know.
And
It depends.
the rule that I never knew existed,
Oh, I guess.
the touchdown can be awarded.
Oh, that was amazing. That was a great 5 minutes.
I never knew that rule existed.
Nope.
I'd never heard of that.
But it makes
was,
sense to me because I'm like, well, at some point, there's only so many centimeters.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah, like at some point, it's gonna put the ball across.
Yeah, we can't get any physically closer to this. Like, we have
Literally.
already broke it down to 1/4 of an inch, and 1/8 of an inch is hard.
I'm gonna get out there with my tape measure.
But
Hang out.
he was
Julie,
timing.
Julie may have written a story on this, okay? But the only time I can never remember this happening was I thought it was like a college game. But anyway,
Mhm.
a player gets up off the bench, off the sidelines, and
Yeah.
he tackles the guy that's wide open running down the field. And the referee awarded him a touchdown. instead of just like a 15 yard,
Nice.
unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Gives them the 6 because
Yeah,
there is nobody even close.
that
Was it
was
college?
Texas A&M versus Alabama. Alabama player is the one that came off the bench and tagged him.
Okay.
You being
I just happened
serious?
to hear this on the radio on the way home today. I guess the Bama's
Yeah.
post game comment was, I guess I just had too much Bama in me to let him score a
Okay.
touchdown. So,
That's a thing.
I
A
mean, this is like
quantifiable thing.
1964, I think, or is
Nice.
I
way
mean,
back.
people just need to be snatching that audio from you, Caleb. I could use that for any situation. I just had too much Bama in me.
Yeah,
Right?
sorry.
Some of those encroachments, like I know it's not like it doesn't happen, but it just felt like I was in a twilight zone yesterday when it kept happening. Like, what's his name? Oh yeah, Jalen Carter tried to stick his finger in the opposing center's
Yeah.
eyeball.
Mhm.
And I forget his name. It's usage or something. I don't know. It's long and
I don't
European.
remember. It's just
He's
whatever.
a free agent who got signed. But anyways, yeah, he's trying to blind him, and I'm like, that is very 1960s of you because you're not allowed to stick your fingers in people's eyeballs anymore. But like, I appreciate the creativity. That one was kind of shocking. And then he barely got the consequences for it too, like because the guy was like, can I get something special? Because he tried to stick my finger in my eye, like you could see him talking to the ref afterwards, and it was kind of like a tough shit shrug, is what I got out of that. But anyway, and then we have Lufu flying over twice doing a Superman, and I'm just like, what is
He wanted to do it 3 times.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I
he did
just
it twice. But the first time, did you see they did kind of a shot where they showed Hurt's face, and he was the most shocked person ever. It's like,
yeah,
this
it
guy's
was
in my arms, and
shocking.
I haven't even got the snap yet. This guy's jumping into my arms.
Like that's not a thing that people do. And then he did
I've
it again,
never
and I
seen it.
was like, what is so we're making people blind and then we're flying.
Channeling the inner Troy Polamalu.
Yeah. The third one, it looked like they were trying so hard not to, but the guy jumped like
Yeah, at
about
least it was a
3
different
inches.
person.
Yeah, 3 inches, and he just kind of nudged the helmet
Yeah.
of the Philadelphia center, and he's just like screaming, did it again.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't Lulu flying again. I was grateful for
Yeah.
that because I was like, if he does that shit one more time, I was
That was
gonna get mad.
so funny.
I appreciated the idea. I also appreciated the fake punt. That was quite creative.
That was
and
very
was a
good.
good execution. So I appreciate, thinking outside the box a little bit. But
I'd forgotten about the fake punt.
yeah, that was pretty good. But I'm just not quite sure about the flying. And definitely blinding people is a no in nowadays NFL.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, now for the big
this is
one
random,
more
but
thing. Okay.
yeah, you know how that they had to change the flag because that one ref threw the flag into the player's eyeball and he went blind.
I remember that.
Back when they used to have like something attached to the flag. I forget what it was, but it's some kind
It
of
was a small weight. It was some BBs.
yes. Yes, and the weight hit the player in the eye and he lost his sight, so that's why they had to change the nature of the flag. Yep. Just reminded me of that.
Wow. Learn something new every time I talk to Julie.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about our latest hate watch. Okay.
It's not even hate. It's not even hate, Jay. It's not hate anymore. It is just pure disdain.
I was going to use that exact same word.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
I can't believe I pulled that word out.
Resignation. Resignation's a good word.
Yeah, that's a good word too. But I feel like that doesn't quite convey quite all the animosity, I guess.
Yeah.
Does a quit work in this situation or no?
They acquitted themselves very well.
They acquitted themselves.
To half
No.
of the fan base in the league. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
This game pissed me off to the max.
It was a good game though, right? Like
It was a really good game,
it
ruined
was
by a couple
everything.
calls.
Yeah,
It was.
everything
But
you wanted it to be minus the BS.
the only thing that I could say about the Bills, though, even though I felt that they got shafted on at least two or three different occasions,
Mm.
was the fact that their quarterback had the ball with plenty of time at around their own 30. And I would bet like $1 million on Mahomes to take it all the way, no matter who's playing defense.
Mm.
And Allen didn't do anything with the situation. And play calling was dog
This
tripe.
horrendous.
Oh my God, Joe Brady,
Horrendous.
Oh my
his
play
gosh.
coordinator.
So
Which
horrible.
sucks because the drive before that, when they went down and tied the game, he was in his bag with that one.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
like,
it was
oh my
brilliant.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just completely melted. Sucks to see. Really rooting for Josh and the Bills, honestly.
Mm.
But
I mean, if you take away the catch that wasn't a catch,
Mm.
Buffalo probably wins that game.
and look,
At the very least, they go into overtime.
That was frustrating.
maybe they still go down and score, but man, it makes it really stinking hard to stop a team when you just park them right on the 2-yard line on that ball.
Yeah.
And it got, McDermott was right in challenging it too, and it's it's like just insane. And even the Pereira and the announcers, they disagreed with it, I thought. So, and the same thing with the fourth down spot, which the fourth down spot isn't as egregious as the play before that on third down. I think it was Knox or Kincaid. He clearly got the first down.
It was Knox. They marked him short. They marked Buffalo short in that game. In that second half, they marked
referees
Buffalo
had
short.
to walk back a yard.
Yeah,
he was marking it for
times.
the first down. Yeah. The guys on the sidelines, the chain crew was getting ready to walk. And the referee walked it back a full yard.
Yeah.
That is what needs to be looked at, not the fourth down scrum. Like, obviously you can figure out probably where the ball was in Josh Allen's hands, but you can't physically see it, and that's the problem.
Well, Josh had the ball covered in both arms by his neck. His neck was across the freaking line.
Right, and like obviously common sense tells you that. Like, he's got it tucked right there, but
yeah,
the third down play is what really screwed him over.
When you play Kansas City, you cannot leave the game in the officials' hands.
You can't. You have to.
And Knox,
you gotta blow him out.
Knox clearly got the first down in that play prior to the fourth down. They marked Buffalo short in the second half so many freaking times. It's not even funny.
That's terrible.
It's just the catch with Worthy pissed me off to the max because how do you consider him having possession when Bishop has the ball in his arms, but Worthy has a hand on the ball, pinning it against Bishop's arms? That means he has possession?
And they had a chance to look at it too. And when they didn't fix it, I was like, oh.
Well, and the ball was on the freaking ground. Like,
if anything,
nobody caught it. That's the thing.
So we saw this. We saw this earlier in the season, Caleb, with Ahkello Witherspoon in LA. Okay, the game against Arizona, he caught the ball diving for it. The ball hit the ground, but because it didn't move, it was considered an interception. Bishop had the ball in his arms. The ball hit the ground, did not move. That's an interception. By rule, we saw earlier in the year, that's an interception.
Whichever way you slice it. I mean, that
it's illegal. Not a catch by Worthy. That's not a catch by Worthy.
No.
Illegal contact was looming, but that would have been a hell of a lot better than it being called a catch.
That's a 5-yard penalty on the first down.
Yeah. So,
regardless,
but like you said, it was a great game. I mean, when they hype these things up so much, but like
it just felt like the odds were against them from the very beginning, whether or not it should have been. Like it was like a losing battle. Like
it was just at the end, it got really soured.
Yeah. Girl, I was like, I already knew it was going to be bullshit from the start, and I think McDermott did too. Everybody did.
The Bills didn't help themselves out, but I mean, the defense all postseason started off super slow. Gave up opening drive touchdowns to. I mean, at some point you knew I was going to bite you in the butt, and the Chiefs were going to be able to do it. So
the thing is, though, neither Kansas City nor Buffalo played their best game.
Yeah,
but Buffalo did enough to win. but we're not allowed to do that.
Well, that will be that's what I see. Allen he's 0-4 now against Mahomes in the playoffs, and
Should be 2-2.
He's thrown for 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, has one turnover, and they've averaged 28 points. But Buffalo has given up 38, 27, and 42 points or something like that.
Right.
Those games. It's a defense, which is usually pretty good throughout the regular season, that just melts in the postseason against them. They weren't healthy this year, though. That's the thing.
What I take away from this game, though, is the poor officiating that was costing Buffalo, and the coordinator position for Buffalo. Joe Brady probably should be going.
Nah, I don't agree with that at all.
Oh, I believe so.
Josh Allen's played his absolute best football the past 2 years under Joe Brady.
I don't think so.
I mean, okay.
I feel like I don't think so.
But it's been the case. So I mean,
I just don't think so.
At the numbers, I mean, it's.
I feel like he played better under Dable, to be honest.
I mean, maybe, but he hasn't had Dable in 4 years.
2 years. It's been 2.5, right?
No.
Didn't he have Stefan back then too, though?
He did.
It's Stefan, yeah. I mean, that's the Bills. I mean, Amari Cooper was a nice pickup if you actually freaking used him.
Oh my God, that's just embarrassing.
Well, I don't understand what happened with that. He went there and was less useful there than he was in Cleveland.
Well, when he got there, he was hurt.
Was he? With
he missed a couple of games. Yeah.
Was he? Yeah. Oh, maybe that's the problem.
Okay, this is Tailgate update number 61, and this is the first time that Ryan has ever used the phrase "he's less useful than he was in Cleveland." Cleveland is always the nadir of not being able to use people properly. You know?
And I thought for sure when Cooper went there, I mean, I was like, oh, he's going to ball out now.
That's what I thought.
I thought for sure. I was like, oh, this is another weapon for Josh to use, and this is going to be boom. No.
But you know what? The two tight end set and James Cook run like a madman. I mean, it works, but you just need a number one option outside still too, though. They need to find something.
Well, Mac Hollins has proven to be pretty damn good.
Yeah. He messes up a lot. I don't think he actually – I mean, he's a great athlete, catch the ball, but I don't think he even understands what the heck he's doing out there at the time.
No, he's too busy worrying about what costume he's going to wear to the freaking game.
Yeah, and we're probably pissed off he has to wear shoes out there too.
My takeaway, like, it's just – I don't feel like Joe Brady is what's going to make Josh succeed at that level that he wants to go to.
The only time I care about the Bills is when they make it to the playoffs. So this is like so.
I feel like they succeeded and were decent enough this year in spite of Joe Brady.
Joe Brady will be the next year's Ben Johnson type head coaching candidate.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, he was probably outside of Liam Cohen and Todd Monken.
I just like how that sounds. That's all. No, you didn't. No.
He's probably third or fourth on that, like, offensive coordinator.
Really?
Sean McVay. Yeah. Go look at. I mean, like, Josh Allen has legitimately been a top 2 or 3 quarterback with Joe Brady. Like,
he had his most efficient season. Like,
last drive sucked, but I mean,
I feel like Ryan's more in his feelings about this due to his region of where he lives being closer to the Bills versus anybody else, because he has like more people probably who are fans and everything. So I think he takes this quite personally in a way that no one else does.
I mean, you're partially right. Yes.
Yes, because I'm like, I couldn't give 2 shits, but I realize it might be the same way for the Seahawks.
I have to watch them every Sunday for my entire childhood.
Yeah, that's fine. You're still wrong about Joe Brady, though.
Yeah,
am I?
Yeah.
I got no beef for Brady.
I will not allow the Joe Brady slander. That dude has been.
Josh had his most efficient season under Joe Brady. I'll give him that, but I don't think he's going to take him to the next level.
What's the next level? I mean, he's pretty much there.
MVP, Super Bowl champ, man.
You can't.
He could still win MVP this year.
Up the rest of the team needs to catch up with the Super Bowls.
Yeah. Okay.
Allen
I
has
understand
balled
that.
out when he needs to.
Yeah.
They need to do something. That honestly, that defense needs a little more weight in the pants. Like they are small.
They were better 3 years ago.
They
were more fierce and scary 3 years ago.
They were.
I was
Did
going to
you say
say
weight in the
Mahomes
pants?
has not been dominating this year,
Weight
but
in
he
the
was
ass,
totally
weight in the
dominating.
He didn't really dominate, but like he was moving the ball. Like he was doing things that we hadn't seen him do all year, really.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Mahomes.
He hasn't been a top 10 QBR quarterback of the whole year, but
what?
he was
Wasn't
just
Brady
so
like that, where
efficient.
he always showed up like during the playoffs, like it was like
Always.
a different
Please
guy?
don't remind me.
Yeah,
Every time.
that's exactly right.
So
Every
he's
time I thought he
channeling
was
that energy.
buried. Oh,
Here's an underlying story that nobody's really talking about is how about Xavier Worthy being the guy that really cooked them in the first half specifically. That first drive was like all Xavier Worthy.
and he could have been a Bill.
And the Bills traded that pick to the Chiefs.
Kansas City, yeah.
Just also, the Bills are the ones that traded their pick to the Chiefs to draft Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Everybody always craps on the Bears like, oh, you could have Patrick Mahomes. Well,
But what you were talking about, Caleb, the early script, they did not use Kelsey at all. He didn't show up really to the second half.
No.
They totally, flaked them out. They were totally fooled.
It was
they
like
haven't used
Walter
Travis
Payton in the
much.
Super Bowl. They just used
They haven't
decoy.
used him much at all. I think
Travis
It's his lightest year. You're right.
He's being like kind of like, okay, he's there. We can use him, but we don't need him.
I think if they win, I think he retires.
So Kansas City opens up as Super Bowl favorites versus Philly. Big surprise there. Let's get out of that shit. No one cares anymore. Probably gonna be the least watched Super Bowl in freaking history.
But I am excited about the Pro Bowl, of course. Everyone knows that every season I cover every single aspect, so I will be doing that again. For the Forkball, you'll be able to see all of my content there. So I will be covering the skills on Thursday, and with in-depth coverage over all the skills. I write a lot of notes. Like, you can't ignore something like Jason Kelsey barely being able to bend over to throw a beanbag or whatever it was, the football between his legs. Like, you can't ignore that, right? So I will definitely be coming in hot for that. So anybody who's interested in some pretty good Pro Bowl coverage, the Forkball.com will be for you. And I'll also cover, of course, the flag football game.
Oh, flag football.
And I might even do the award show just because I'm on a roll.
Like TP.
There you go. There you go. So, anybody else have any thoughts about what the Bills or the Commanders should be doing going to the off season as they try to beat these teams that they cannot beat?
Drinking a lot.
Running back
with
in Washington.
Mark Andrews.
Running back in Washington. That sounds good.
Running back in Washington. Secondary in Buffalo.
Yeah,
that sounds good. And like you said, one more huge guy for the line for Buffalo.
Yeah, they need a space eater on the D line.
Yeah,
they have a lot of older players in their defense. It feels like
kind of. Yeah. They're kind of like a good mix. I would think.
They do replenish and everything.
Their linebackers are kind of old.
Okay.
So a couple things here. Chicago hiring Declan Doyle as their offensive coordinator and Dennis Allen as their DC.
Yeah.
Doyle has last worked in Denver as a tight end coach. And before that, he was the offensive assistant in New Orleans from 19 to 22. And Dennis Allen, we last saw him losing his locker room in New Orleans as a head coach.
Oh my God. I will love Jameis Winston and his obsession with Snow Angels forever after that.
And he was a head coach from 2022 to 2024. Now he He's going to be the DC in Chicago. He was a defensive coordinator from 2015 to 2021 in New Orleans, actually.
Yeah,
So
maybe he can do
You-
better when he doesn't have the responsibility of keeping his team.
So obviously, being a
Doyle
Bears
and
fan,
Allen work
being a
together.
Bears fan, I'm pretty in tune with what's going on here. Did a dive on Allen, his scheme, and what Eberflus ran, and what the defense is already set up for. Should be, for the most part, pretty seamless. Dennis Allen, as solely a defensive coordinator, pretty much trotted out like a top 8 unit every year in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Even up until last year, which I think is a byproduct of, one, him kind of losing the locker room, and then two, the defense getting older. But even the 2 years prior, that was still a top 12 unit. So really happy with Dennis Allen. I think that's a great hire. I think it's a great thing to have somebody with head coaching experience, even though it wasn't great, on your staff for a 38-year-old head coach. And also, don't really have to worry about Dennis Allen going anywhere, probably anytime soon.
Okay.
So at least for a few years, because I mean,
continuity.
the head coach gig just didn't work out for him very well. But I think we all kind of saw that coming too.
I mean, Cliff Kingsbury was the same way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you probably have him for a couple of years too if you're Washington. If he's smart, I mean, he could jump right back in, and probably, because obviously a young, hot name offensive coordinator is going to be a lot more appealing than an old crusty DC. But and then Declan Doyle, I don't know. I'm just going to trust what Ben Johnson's looking at, because that tight end room in Denver is horrendous. They totaled less than 400 total yards together, all four of them. Offensive assistant for a bottom third offense in New Orleans during his tenure, outside of the 1 year, I think the last year with Drew Brees. So
what was that again, Caleb? What was that? Bottom three what?
Bottom third offense in New Orleans.
Really? From 19 to 22, they're bottom third? Wow.
For 3 of his 4 years, I believe. Yeah.
No shit.
Wow.
So
It's not very promising.
He's only 28 years old. I mean, he's a hot name supposedly coming up. And I mean, he worked with Sean Payton, and Sean Payton's a pretty well-respected offensive mind anyway. So I know you
for
have
the most part, yeah.
But
On my shit list for life.
I don't know. Doesn't change how good of a coach they are, though.
So
True.
anyone else have anything to promote before we put a bow on this one?
Forkball.
Forkball.
The Raiders are hiring Pete Carroll, man.
Oh yeah, gosh.
Head coach, the Raiders.
Good hire,
Man.
Good hire, I think.
Yeah, the youngest coach in that division is 57, I think.
And he's healthier than most of those people.
He was full of energy today during his press conference. It was good.
He's
good
never
to see.
not. This man is like a Energizer bunny. Okay, he has more energy than I can dream of, and probably most people. So I'm like, y'all need to just chill, because, he's a quarter of the weight of 16 of the head coaches, and has more energy than 4 put together. So I don't want to hear nothing.
Nothing. Don't want to hear nothing, she says.
How about the Cowboys? What a home run hire that was, huh? Brian shot you run McCarthy out of there for Brian freaking Schottenheimer. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
What
this
a
is his
joke.
this is his first head coaching job. How are you 51 and no one has seen you fit to give you a head coaching job?
With the
And Jerry
last name of
Jones says-
Schottenheimer.
Didn't he have a dad that was a coordinator and head coach too?
Marty Schottenheimer was the coach for
Browns.
the Chargers for the longest time.
Yeah, I
the
know.
Browns
and the
for a long
Browns.
time.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was against Denver when they had the drive. The drive was
no.
against Cleveland. Yeah.
Oh no.
That's why Schottenheimer never took them to the Super Bowl, because of the drive.
And the fumble, the drive, the fumble, the interception.
Yeah. I mean,
Look, if nepotism doesn't get you a hire by 51 because you have the right last name, then I don't know what will.
It's probably not going to happen.
It's anti-nepotism,
Amen.
you know? It's
But maybe
anti-nepotism.
Man. Yeah, that
Okay.
that made me. I mean, you talk about the biggest brand name in the NFL, and they come up with Brian Schottenheimer with all of the hot shot coordinators and everything. I mean, they didn't even look at Monken. They didn't look at Joe Brady. They didn't look at Ben Johnson. They didn't look at Liam Cohen. They didn't look at Pete Carroll.
They screwed it up on Ben Johnson. Yeah.
Monken's finalizing a deal to stay in Baltimore, I believe.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's going to stay. Brady's stay another year. Liam Cohen. Did you guys see his press conference?
Yeah, it was the quietest press conference I've ever heard in my life.
Weird.
So, Julie, what is it that you say at the end of every episode when we're closing this thing up?
Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, and we appreciate all of our subscribers. The number is still continuing up, and could not be happier. So, thank you.
Try not to be so salty next week too. Spicy. I was feeling spicy today. I don't know why.
Yeah, you really wanted to die.
It's good content, man. It was awesome.
I don't know that I was feeling that spicy, but
you were willing to die on that Brady Hill, man.
Yeah,
that is your pound the table.
Like, I just think it's funny that me and Caleb almost always agree with each other and stuff, and Ryan's always just kind of like wrong and alone.
He just wants to be a contrarian, Julie. That's all he wants to be.
Yeah. Would it be fun if we all agreed each other and sang Kumbaya? No, it would not be fun.
It'd be a blast.
It is kind of amusing that me and Caleb agree on most things, on like a wide array of things. So.
Okay.
You want a cookie? Would you guys like to split an Oreo?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, too bad. You get nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have one because you're.
No soup for you. No soup for you. Ban 1 year.
No soup for you.